Okay, so you've got your Biocube, you've got it set up, you've got a few pieces of rock in it. What next? So we're at that point. So usually the first thing that I suggest to most people is, hey, let's start with a clownfish or two and possibly some invertebrates. And the invertebrates that I like to start with are first and foremost the cleaner shrimp. Why? One, because they'll do good in a small aquarium right down to a nano reef. And two, they're out and about, so they're not going to try to hide from you. They're going to be out kind of in front. They're not putting a heavy load on a Biocube. And that's the thing about salt water. You don't want to have a super heavy load in a super small aquarium. What you want to do is actually put things in there that kind of lighten the load a little bit. So whenever you're doing a Biocube, think in terms of, hey, I can have a lot of invertebrates but not a heavy population of fish. There's really no limit to the corals that you can have as long as you're maintaining proper balance with your water. So again, cleaner shrimp or even peppermint shrimp are a great start to the Biocube as far as adding some critters to kind of get things going. It wouldn't be bad to have as many snails as you can. A very big algae controllable thing that I have in just about every reef tank that I have. You cannot have too many in almost any given tank. The smaller varieties, like your Astrea snails, your margarita snails, anything like that is going to be very safe. I do not suggest the large turbo grazers and things like that. Main reason for that, obviously they can knock things over. I'm also not a super big proponent of having a lot of sea urchins in a Biocube, simply for the same reason. They can knock things over very easy. If you want one really small one, like a tuxedo urchin or something like that, no problem. But try to stay on the small side and think with your Biocube in terms of not how much can I get in there, but how much can I get in there safely. And in the invertebrate realm, you're always going to be safe with small snails. Small Fromia stars that don't get very large can be great for the Biocube, as they're not going to get large and take up a lot of room. Small sand sifting stars would be acceptable too. Just no large, heavily bodied starfish. Anything like these, you're pretty safe. One of the things that is also safe are certain types of worms, and the feather duster probably is the king of the worm that is safe that you can have in your saltwater tank. These are great just from the action. They're a great filter feeder. I don't suggest it as a first invertebrate to put in the aquarium because you do want to feed these guys and you want there to be enough stuff kind of in the water column for them to be able to feed out. Red Sea has some great products. There's a lot of coral foods and things like that that you can get for them, but these are great. Also, you will see these small little firefish that are in here. While I don't suggest putting a bunch of them in a Biocube, one or two could be great because these fish are not going to get very large. The color that they have in a large aquarium is going to be expounded tremendously by the color they're going to have in a small aquarium. So they're a great fish for a Biocube. Okay, so the Atlantic Pygmy angel. This is a dwarf centropyge species of angelfish that is not going to get very big at all. This would be a great candidate for the Biocube. And as you can see, just shooting out of the back is Wheeler's prong goby or the Wheeleri Goby. Great little goby. It's not going to get big. Great for the bottom and for a conversation piece. Of course, the clownfish is going to be the staple in any saltwater aquarium. The Biocube is no different. This is the #1 fish that I would use in at least one or a pair if you want. But this is safe, it's hardy, it'll be long-lived in almost any environment, and the Biocube is no different. The Tessellata moray is not for the Biocube. Another really beautiful fish that tends to do well for me in Biocubes is the yellow Wotchman goby. This is a fish that is very hardy from even a very young specimen just starting out. You can see right behind there's a Horseface Blenny as well. Small blennies and gobies are a surefire bet for any Biocube. A, because they typically, and you have to do your research on which one you're buying, but they don't get very big and they typically don't get big fast. So very easy to accommodate one of these in the Biocube. They're also very entertaining because if it's a Blenny, it's hopping from rock to rock. And if it's a Goby, it's making its place in the sand. It's building a little cave in most cases. And there's a plethora of Gobies, but I want to show this one. I also want to show the twin spot Goby, which is down just below it. Right there, that's a great little Goby. It's a sand sifting Goby. That will also work in a tank like that. Another cool addition to a Biocube, as these are never going to really outgrow it, are your Gorgonians. The ones I have in right now represent the purple variant. These are a more mid-water type Gorgonian, and you can also see the yellow, which is a much more deep water Gorgonian. These don't require a high amount of light, just good amount of flow, but they're perfect for early additions to a Biocube. You can also see right there. Now we've looked at a few fish or fish species while not going into great detail, but you can message me if you've got a specific question about a specific fish for your Biocube. Now I'd like to talk about how to get corals started in your Biocube and what to look for. And as you can see, as you go right through here, you can see all these different cuttings that we have. And with the Biocube is where it's great to actually get small cuttings of any different types of corals to kind of get started for your Biocube. And you can see most of your stores are going to have a high end and a high quantity of any of these types of small corals. And we can actually end this looking with the Biocube that we have set up in here. This has not been set up for very long at all, but you can kind of see already the progression of a lot of these corals and some of the fish that you can see moving through here. So that's a quick tip video on what's next with your Biocube and what you can add. Again, if you've got any questions about that, of course, shoot me a message. If there's a fish you're considering or worried about. But as long as you stay with smaller angels, like your central Pygmy angels, if you stay with your smaller wrasses, 6-line wrasses, things like that, any of your cardinal fish, any of your small damselfish, you can find that the general rule of a fish per 10 gallons, which is our general rule here at Fishy Business, you can fit 3 to 4 fish comfortably, as long as they're on the smaller scale, in your Biocube. And as for corals, you can have as many as there are places for. Thanks for tuning into the video. We'll talk more about more things saltwater in future videos. And have a great week. God bless, and we'll see you back here.